The great ABU student, the great ABU student. You know, I'm not from ABU Zaria, but I'm inspired and I was impressed by your national anthem. And I wish I was an Abusite. But you know, I finished my first degree at Bayero University Camp. But there's a new trend that says UK students are better than ABU students. You don't agree? It's imagination, right? Okay, that's fine. So I like the challenge today. We are gathered here for the SDGs. And I was challenged to remember the SDG goals, all of them. And I said, let me see if I can memorize SDG goals, not only in the forward order, but in the backward order, in the reverse order. And I try to do that and to also show you or to inspire you, to show you what is possible. And together, let us learn these SDGs before I go into my speech. And instead of taking them from 1 to 17, I will take them from 17 to 1. Right? So let's do it. So some of you, maybe you can look at down here and see what I'm calling is correct. So number 17 is partnership for the goals. Is that correct? And number 16 is peace, justice, and strong institutions. Is that correct? Number 15 is life on land. Is that correct? And then number 14 is life underwater. And then we have climate action. And then we have responsible consumption and production. Sustainable cities and communities, reduced inequalities, industry, innovation and infrastructure, decent work and economic growth, affordable and clean energy, and gender equality, quality education, good health and well-being, zero hunger, and no poverty. In the next 6 years, it is not about how much we remember the SDGs, but what are we doing about the SDGs? These SDGs will expire in the next 6 years. They will cease to exist. The world will have to reconvene and decide what could be the next goal. But that action is the leadership, which comes down to my topic this morning. Leadership. In the ancient time, there was a large and very strong army that wanted to invade a town. And this large army, they gathered. This is distracting. Just all right. I want to get reading that. So and I saw that people are looking at the screen there. All right. So I was giving the story of a large army, a very strong army in the ancient time that wanted to invade a town. And they wanted to take over this town. And then the king of that town looked up and saw a large fleet of army coming to invade his town. And he knew he didn't have the strength of the army and the number of people to fight those fleet of armies that are coming to attack his town. So this king, what he did, he gave up. He was engulfed by fear and told his army and his soldiers to run for their lives. He said, we cannot fight these armies that are coming to attack us. Just give up. Everyone should gather what we have and leave the town. And that's what everyone did, except for one strong soldier, a young person in the army. He said, no, we are not leaving our towns. We are staying, we are going to fight. And this young person stood with some other soldiers around. What they did, they dug a hole in front of their towns and they put some leaves shallow leaves to cover the hole, and they put some gas liquid inside the hole. And then when those armies started marching to attack this town, they started falling into that hole. And what these young soldiers did, they lit a flame in that hole and burned all these armies, and they died. The king left the town, went to a cave, and he was looking out to see the flames and the ashes of his town, and he saw nothing. He was surprised. And then he started coming out to see what happened. Why didn't they burn my houses, my town? And when he came, he saw people jubilating. Everyone was happy. There was partying around. And the king asked, what happened? Why were we not killed? Why were we not burned? And then the young soldier explained to the king what happened. He told him the bravery and the actions they took to protect their hometown. And the moral of this story is that your action, your leadership, the difference you make has no relationship with the position you hold. If it was for position, the king would have been the one to protect the town. It wasn't the king. It was the young army that stood there to protect the town. So don't always reserve leadership to people in position, because you are a leader. And the title of my speech today is You Are a Leader. And you ask yourself, how do I become a leader? Leadership is decision. Leadership is a choice. You have to decide, you have to choose to be a leader. You just decide to be a leader, and then you are a leader, even if position is not given to you. So, a lot of people ask me, how do I become a leader? And that's why I wrote a book, You Are a Leader. There are a lot of myths about leadership. When I ask people, who is a leader? They started mentioning President Tinubu, started mentioning governors, senators, and reps, and things like that. Because we reserve leadership to people in power. But power, position, fame, wealth are not the necessary conditions for leadership. Without this, you can still be a leader. Because people are following you because you have the power. Once you lose the power, what happens? They will stop following you. But you see, it's easily fleeting away when you restrict your leadership to only position. What about money? Because you have many people are following you. What happens when the money fleets away? It's no longer there. People also run away. So leadership is when people are willing to follow you. You are influencing them for not what you have, for not the position you have, but for who you are. So one of the fulfilling and enduring leadership is the one you exert to influence yourself and influence other people. I saw a lot of young people, they want to lead other people. I told them, no, don't lead people. Go and lead yourself first. It's self-leadership that will make you to be a good leader for other people. If you cannot lead yourself well, you cannot lead others well. And that's why a lot of young people say, I don't have position, I want to lead. I say, go and lead yourself. And if you want to lead people, we follow you and see how you lead yourself. I will observe you in 7 areas. There are 7 areas when I observe you. That is when I know you can be a leader for people or not. I look at you first. The first thing I need to look at is your emotion. How do you manage your emotion? That's self-leadership. Are you easily hijacked by your emotion? Or do you intercept your emotion? A lot of people, they are emotional time bomb. A little provocation, they go into flare. They lose their temper. So how do you manage your emotion is the number one determinant of your ability to lead other people. If you cannot manage your emotion, you cannot lead people. The second thing I need to observe is how you manage your time. Do you use your time to achieve success, or do you use your time for pleasure and amusement? How you utilize your time is how you utilize opportunities and resources around you. The next thing I need to observe is how you prioritize your life. Because they are most important things in your life. When you do them, other things will fall in place. Do you have the right prioritization? If you do that, that means you can be a good leader. If not, then you cannot be a leader. The next thing we need to observe is how you manage your thinking. How you think positive about yourself and how you think positive about other people. If what you do is to grow hatred in your mind, to hate people, to criticize people, always you are the right person, then you don't have a positive mindset toward people. So positive thinking, because people say you are what you do. And then we also need to manage our energy. You have something important during the day, do not exhaust your energy until you come to do that most important thing. The number 6 to manage is your words. I'm glad that a lot of you are noting down. That's very valuable. You see, if you find yourself in a room or in a cycle of friends, I want to challenge you to do this thing. I want you to apply this principle of highly effective people that says, seek to understand, then to be understood. If you are in a cycle among friends or in a home, do not try to talk too much and for too long. Unless you're a professor like me, you can do that. But even if you're a professor, unless you are saying something meaningful, do not talk for too long or too much. Always say little. Even in the 14 laws of power, say, talk less than necessary. So try to understand people, then making people to understand you. It's better for me to come to this occasion and understand people than making people to understand you. So seek to understand, then to be understood. Still under words management, when you say a word, commit to it. Stand by your words. Anything you say you will do it. If you can't do it, just say you can't do it. The last thing I want to observe to see if you are a good leader or not is your willpower. Willpower is the number 7 element of self-leadership. Willpower is your ability to self-control yourself, to regulate yourself. If what you do is what seems easy and pleasurable things in your life, then you are not a good leader. Always sell your dopamine for expensive things. Do not get your dopamine, your pleasure from things that are cheap and easy. Easy things do not make you great. Difficult things and things that you delay for future and greater benefits are what makes you great. So delay gratification. Don't aim for immediate pleasure or satisfaction. Always delay that for the biggest reward in the future. So these are the 7 measurements of self-leadership. If you pass this test, you got an A in each of these 7 elements of self-leadership, then we can say we'll give you the leadership of other people. So the first prerequisite of leadership is you leading yourself. Go home and start checking yourself in these 7 elements. Number 1, emotions. Number 2, time management. Number 3, do you want me to take it back? Oh, you are following. Managing your emotion, managing your time, managing your priorities, managing your, I mentioned priorities, right? Managing your energy, managing your thinking, or either thinking before energy or energy before thinking anyway. Or because I did thinking before energy. So managing your thinking, and then managing your energy, and then managing your words, and then managing your willpower. I want you to research about willpower. It's very important. If you have self-control, there is possibility that you are going to be a successful person. Successful people are people that have powers of themselves over themselves. If your mind is controlling you, you cannot control people. So you have to start controlling your mind before you can control people. And now that's the first part of leadership, self-leadership. Now moving to the leadership of other people. Now how do you lead people? And here is the challenge. As a leader, you influence people, you make people do things. But the question is, do you make people do things because they want to do it or because you want them to do it? You make people to do things because they want to do it or you want them to do it. Which one is leadership? Because you want them to do it. Did someone say no? Is it you make people to do things because they want to do it or you want them to do it? Which one is leadership? Because they want to do it? But someone said because you want them to do it. Because they want to do it. So, as a leader, your job is to make people do things that they want to do, but because you want them to do it. And they are doing it without them knowing that you are influencing them to do it. They will do it feeling and believing that they are doing it because they want to do it themselves. And for excellent leadership, when you want to lead people, there are 4 elements. You see, self-leadership entails 7 elements, but public leadership, leading people, takes only 4 elements. The most difficult form of leadership is self-leadership. Once you can overcome yourself, you can lead people very easy. Leading people is very easy if you can lead yourself. Now, leading people requires 4 elements. Number 1 is vision. You cannot lead people if you don't have the vision. So why do you lead them? You just get it into car, but you have no destination. You have nowhere to go. That's leadership without a vision. If you want to lead an organization, if you want to contest an election, the first thing you need to have is vision. What do I want to achieve? What kind of destination do I want to take these people to? But this vision must be very compelling, inspiring, and sometimes even scary. And in such a vision as a leader, you may not have to get people to agree with you in the vision, but you should be able to communicate, inspire people to get into the vision. And that brings you to the second part of the public leadership, which is motivating people. As a leader, the first thing you need to have is vision. The second one is motivate people to accept the vision as if it's their own. I was having a gist with a former GM of housing of Katsina State, and he was telling me a story. He said the then Governor Shema took him to a bush inside Abuja. It was very, very dark and very isolated place in Abuja, outcast. And Shema said, this place is going to be an estate, and that estate is going to be called Katsina Estate. And the GM housing said, this guy is mad. He must have went mad for even someone to start thinking this bush should be converted into an estate. People to live there. Now, as I'm speaking, that GM, myself, we live in that estate in Abuja. You see, when leaders have vision for the first time, a lot of people will disagree with them. They will think these guys went crazy. These things are not achievable. But that's what makes it a vision. If the vision you come out with is very easily, acceptable, and people can resonate with it, then it is not a vision. Visions of people must disagree with you. Just like me when I say not everyone should vote in election. To solve Nigeria's problem, leadership problem, not everyone should vote in election. A lot of people will disagree. We'll debate. But when you see something that is scary and big and people don't even accept it for the first time, then there's a sign that that's going to be a great vision. So you have to convince people, which is the second part, motivate people to accept the vision. You have to tell stories. You have to tell them what benefit will they get if this vision is achieved. And that will make them to make that vision personal to them and commit to it. And then the third element of public leadership is management. A vision without implementation is nothing. These goals without action are nothing. So what we want is, how do we implement these visions? One of the ways we can do that is to hire people to implement this vision, or we implement them ourselves. So every vision must be implemented. But between implementation of vision and the creation of vision, which one is the most important? Is it the creation of the vision or the implementation of it? Because you have vision without implementation means nothing. But can you implement what you have not created? So between managers and leaders, which ones are more important? They are equally important. You can be a leader, you can also be a manager. A leader is the one that creates a vision. If you are leading an organization or you want to lead people and you don't have a vision for them, for that organization, forget about it. Don't even go for it. So leadership, the position is a tool for you to exert leadership. So if you don't have the power, the position, you can still get another tool to exert leadership. So power is one of the many sources or tools of leadership. Because in my book here, I've written a book about leadership. And in series 1, I mentioned about the sources of powers we all have inherent inside us. We are naturally leaders. So all of us, we have 6 powers inside us. We can lead using any one of these 6 powers. The first power we have inside ourselves is what we call referent power. Everyone has that power. We are very powerful people. Referent power is when you have a pleasing personality, a charming personality. People admire you, people like you. And the moment you start doing something, you are influencing other people to do it, to copy from you. Have you ever seen someone bobbing his hair because he saw a football player bobbing his hair in that style? That's called referent power. So my students started putting their caps this way because they saw their lecturer doing it this way. What happened there? The lecturer is influencing these people and they are doing what the lecturer is doing without the knowledge of the lecturer himself. People are dressing like Ronaldo, want to be like Ronaldo. Ronaldo is out there, he didn't even know that. So this kind of power, this kind of leadership is exerted without the permission or the knowledge of the one that is influencing. So we are all influencing some people. Our friends, our siblings, our younger ones, we are influencing them through referent power. The second power is expert power. Most of us here, all of us here, are students. And because of our expertise, we influence people. And people will believe in what we say or we ask them to do. And that's called expert power. The second power, the third and the fourth are related, which is called reward and coercive power. But reward and coercive power, they don't last long. And they are not very good source of power. Reward is when you say, I want you people to do this. Anyone that does this, I will give him so amount of money. You are rewarding people, and because of that reward, you are influencing them to action. So I don't want you to influence people by promising them monetary and immediate reward from you, but likely from what they will get as a reward if the community has improved. That is acceptable. So influence people by telling them the reward they will get when they do what you want them to do. Or coercive, promising them a punishment or losing something if they don't do what you ask them to do. That's power we all have. The next power is legitimate power. Legitimate power is when a leader is influencing his followers by virtue of affiliating to a group or ethical belief or any kind of association. If you are a member of this group, SDG, Ibrahim says, we are going to do this program, you are likely to abide by it and say, okay, let's do it. Because you submitted yourself to the organization, And the leader of the organization decides what we do. Even in religion you see a lot of legitimate power. Even in our Islamic religion, the Prophet Muhammad has the legitimate power over us as Muslims. Anyone that accepts Islam will be obligated to legitimately follow the Prophet. So that legitimate power. And then the idea power. Idea power, everyone has the idea to solve a problem. Someone was serving tea in a conference room discussing about big problem. And no one was able to find the solution to that problem. The person that was serving the tea figured out the solution and mentioned that one idea, and then there they solved the problem from that person that was serving the tea. So idea does not come from the leaders, it can come from any part of the organization, anywhere, top, bottom, or middle. And then the last one is the one we just discussed, which is called self-leadership or self-power. We all have powers to control ourselves. So we all have these 6 powers. Why do we have to wait for position to exert leadership? So leadership is influencing people, making difference in other people, and you then need position to do that. And that's why I tell young people, never make political position to be your ultimate goal in your life. You ask people, a lot of children, what do you want to become in the future? They say they want to become governor. They want to become senator. That's a big tragedy. That's the worst thing that can happen to us as people. But I was amazed by how a kid was asked, what do you want to become in the future? He said he wants to become loving and caring. These are attitudes we should characterize ourselves with, not just position. If you have this position, you're not like that, people will desire to relate you. That they are not following you, they are following the position. So the influence you are having is not you that is influencing them, it's the position that is influencing them. So do not make political position to be the reason to delay your ability to implement leadership. If you want to contest an election, if you want to be a politician, I will ask you the first question is, why do you want to contest the election? Someone came to me, I mentioned it in my book. He said, you want to contest the election. I said, why? I'm sure some people used to be honest, they want the money there, right? But I asked him, what do you want to achieve? He said he wants to influence education. He wants to work for educational sector. And I asked him, what are you doing right now to change something or anything in the educational sector? And I was silent. So if you cannot do it without position, you cannot do it with the position. If you want to contest an election, we follow you and see what you have done without the position. So your leadership ability is tested by what you do when you do not have the resources and the power or the position. That's the true test of leadership. With limited resources, you do it. That means when we empower you, you can do more. So you're not doing anything now, and we give you position? No. And that's why I said, do not make political position your priority. Be the light, and the insects will follow you. This is one of my famous quotes. And I said it in 2016. And it's still relevant. And I told young people, I said, in my leadership school, I said, be the light, and insect of light will follow you. When you put out a light here, what happens? You see insects coming, right? Especially lokacin damana. In ka kunna haske, me za ka ga kwari suna zuwa, right? When you put out a light, insects will come to that light. But when you switch off the light, what happens to the insect? They will run away. So those insects of light are the position, the power, the fame, the recognition, all these things that you're thinking about that you want to get in a position, you have to attract them to you. You don't chase power. You allow power to chase you. How will the power chase you? How do you attract the power? by you becoming light, and the insects of power will chase you. How do you become light? Is by implementing those 7 step leadership, empowering yourself, reading books, learning from other people. In my car here, going to customer right now, you see one key book that I'm reading along the way. Any space I get, I read, enrich yourself, empower yourself. It's reading. If reading is not fun for you, then you cannot be a leader. Leaders are leaders. Leaders are leaders. Invest in yourself. Empower yourself. Don't be in a hurry to empower people until you're able to empower yourself. And do not try to impress people. That's the most difficult thing to do in life. You have to be out of your sight, out of your value, just to impress people. Have your purpose in life. Have your value in life. And anything you do must align to that purpose. And you realize that you are living a fulfilled life. You do not want anything in this life. You came to this world empty, and you go out of it empty. So nothing belongs to you. Utilize it as it lasts. And that's why people need to realize what is built inside us, which is a selfish impulse. Every human being is built with this selfish impulse to be celebrated, to be great, to be number one, to be the leader. We all want that. We cannot deny that. It's fun to see people loving you, liking you. We all have that selfish impulse. But here is a catch. What I want you to do is to reconcile this selfish impulse by aligning it with something that is more selfless. Selfless aims, like serving people, like loving people, loving their growth, their development. When your friend is growing, is progressing, feel happy, enjoy it. You are attracting that kind of progress to yourself. But when someone is growing and you are not happy, you are sending that thing away from you. So always have that kind of service mindset to help people, not just after your self gratification. And before I end, I want to talk about the current situation in the country, the inflation, poverty, and see how we can align leadership topic to the current problem we face in the country. The problem we face in the country is all aligned to the belief and the notion that leadership responsibility is reserved for people in position. How to fix Nigeria's problem is Tinubu's business. How to revive Naira is Tinubu's business. But it is all our business. It is all our responsibility. I cannot deny the fact that Tinubu or the leaders will have a bigger share of the blame. But we all have our own responsibility. It is not Tinubu that is holding the dollar, keeping the dollar in the houses, so that the dollar will increase in value and people bring it out and say that net profit. That's drinking the blood of Naira. How many people are becoming richer and richer from the dollar? And that's why we are the ones killing the economy, and we are blaming the leaders. So for me, to solve Nigeria's problem, we have to start looking inward and see what can we do to fix the Nigeria's problem. And finally, these SDGs are opportunities for us to implement leadership, either within ourselves. You don't have to make people to take action necessarily on this, but you take your action. If you do your part and everyone is doing their part, then we do it together. So I want you to pick up one of these elements of SDG, even though there are some of them that, or I think one of them that might be controversial, that may not align to certain ethics and cultures of our society, which you might decide to ignore, and then choose those that are aligning with your ethics and your culture, and see what you can do. For example, dropping the plastic There's a plastic bottle you drink water and you throw in it, especially if you have the show, or especially if you are talking about number 14, which is life underwater. You throw the bottle in the ocean, and the fish or the shark will come and eat that bottle. The fish will think this is food, and he's eating plastic, and the fish will die. So you are now becoming a threat to the lives of those living inside the water. So when you look at this, there's zero hunger. Zero hunger. The food we waste can help people. You can share with other people. So for me, I want to challenge us to start implementing two things. Number one, reflect on these self-leadership elements and see which ones that we are doing and which ones that we are not doing. And then pick one of these possible SDG goals and take action on them. We have Dr. Mustafa Shehu here. He's an advocate, campaigner, and someone that tracks the SDGs. You can always share with him and with this club what you are doing. You don't have to do all of them. Pick one and implement it. We remember, we are going to judge your leadership not based on how much resources you have, but how much effort you put to the action. That is to say, when we give you more responsibility, more resources, and more power, you will do more. And I have only 30 copies of the book. I will leave it with the executives of this hub. Maybe create a session to share some of the content. The book is more than 500 pages. I'm going to put it as an app for young people to download, to learn about personal development, to learn about leadership. Me standing here, a work that came before me, Dr. Mustafa that is coming after me, we are all men, not because of our degrees, but because of personal development. Some of the things that we became, opportunities we had, we are not given to us just because we had a degree. Myself, I had a degree, education economics. Yes, but I have never looked at it. That's why I always tell my students to tear off their certificate. So you're not going to do it? Certificate is not relevant. Because there are millions of people out there with the certificates. And the certificate is not giving them money. Because if you think your certificate is going to give you the money or the job, then you keep waiting. You have to join the queue. You have to be lucky. And sometimes you start settling down and started applying for million jobs that are beyond your capacity. Opportunities are out there. I wonder why some people with master's degree sending me their CVs, they apply for what do you call it, NDLEA. I don't want to underrate some, I don't want to mention some of them. Very fire service. You have a master's degree. Well, with due respect to those guys that are in the fire service, but I think with someone with a degree, you should create more. You should innovate. If you cannot create and innovate with your degree, then your degree is useless. So for me, degree is just something that will distract you from being yourself. So for a moment, imagine you have a degree. How do you live? What kind of life? Why do you make money without your degree? And there you find your answer. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to remind you that you are a leader. Working out of this hall, I want you to start thinking of what you can do. The responsibility you can take so that you can prove to yourself that you are a leader. Thank you so much, and God bless you. Bye. Do you like Q&A or some more? Okay. Give them the chance. Huh? Yes. Give me to you.
Question and answer. We'll take one or two questions for Prof.
Or observations or additional comments. Do you have a second mic? Sama.
He's very one. From this side, two. So that will. Okay, all two questions. All of the jobs I'm sure some. So not more of the question, but a request.
Okay.
I've been following your Facebook.
Oh.
Release your program mentorship is given to young guys. This is a plea on behalf of other colleagues that are here that you should also bring it to our university. I believe it will be here is the hope because we have the young talented people. And we are not naturally just a paper. We are naturally our brain. So, this special request that please you should bring your mentorship to our colleagues at Zaria. I will be glad to join you all. Thank you, sir.
Sure.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, doctor. I'm Ryan from Fatica on the Department of Sociology. I'm the High Commissioner of the African Student Club of the Medical Investigation Headquarters. I'm the Assistant to the General Faculty of Social Science. Sir, my question is, you talk about leadership, self-empowerment, empowerment.
Yeah.
So in our context of our nation, or let me say my region,
Yeah.
you coming out to be mostly you have the capacity, you have the ability, you have the agility to do something. But sir, the issue is that when you come out, many people will ask you, how much do you have? What do you want to do? So sir, in this country, will you as a leader, what and what are you going to do? Solve that problem. Thank you, sir.
That direction. Sharp, sharp. Sorry.
Good morning. My name is Department of Medical Education.
Okay. Okay.
I have number one question you can mention is mention only you didn't mention the fourth one.
Wait, can you say that again?
Mention
Oh, yes, the third one. Okay,
uh,
the fourth one, right?
yes,
Yes, yes.
fourth one. Then my next question, just like my brother over there said, we have this common problem, most especially our people don't even believe in themselves. Talk less believe in the leaders. Most of our people believe more in gratitude, what they get when we get into something. It's a very hard thing to change people's mind. So what are those steps required that are supposed to be taken to make sure that things become better? Because sometimes you try even your best. I can say I've tried my best to change some people's mind, some people's orientation, try and see, make them understand that this is how you're supposed to think, this is how you're supposed to behave.
Mm.
But at the end of the day, they just shift that. "Ah, kawai wahala kun na ake." Yes, wannan sai dai kuku yi, ko kuma kai za mu kuku da aja. Yes, that's the problem with people. And our people are not even ready. The problem is that people don't even believe they are having a problem. That's the biggest problem. Thank you very much.
All right. So I'm told that we don't have much time, but we can always engage and interact, especially during the break because of time for prep. But I want to quickly mention the fourth one. As a leader, one of the when you are leading people after setting the vision, motivating people into the vision, and managing the vision, the next thing you do is to empower people in the implementation. That is coaching them, mentoring, guiding them. A lot of people that we put into managerial positions don't have the skills, they don't have the capacity to implement. So your job as a leader is to empower yourself and teach and empower your team members to do that. But the issue of the two questions you asked are similar. The gratification. People look at immediate benefits. What can I get today? You're asking me to do innovation. You're asking me to become creative. That will mean doing difficult things, and that will be me waiting for the next 5 years, 6 years before I benefit from it. So this is one of the major tragedies that happens in our generation, as young people, that we want everything now, now. Why? Because technology has made it possible for us to get all the benefits. Any kind of benefit you want to get, you can get it right now. You want to be happy and to feel the pleasure in your brain. What do you need to do? Just pick up your phone, swipe through social media, and you'll be happy. And you become addicted to that because any happiness that you can or you derive from anything that is cheap and short term, that happiness will fade away later. And you start looking for that happiness again and again and again. You get trapped and addicted. So anytime someone asks you to do something that will make you to have the pleasure or the satisfaction in the long future, you're not used to waiting. So we don't have that kind of willpower, if you remember, the last element of self-leadership. And that's what I want to emphasize. And I want you to go and research more about willpower. Because the indicator of your success and your happiness in life is in your ability to self-regulate yourself, to do difficult things, to delay happiness and pleasure for longer time and bigger rewards. So for me, this is one of the challenges we face in politics. People don't want to vote for the right leaders because voting for the right leaders means you waiting until when they get there and they start implementing their good ideas and then you benefit. That's waiting. But when someone who is a bad leader, he knows that it's not electable and he gives you the money. This money is going to give you immediate gratification. You are very happy. You can buy, you know what to buy with this money. So you go by that. So this is one of our elements. And that's why I say we need to restructure our political system. And in the fight for poverty, the federal government should not be the one fighting poverty. Local government. Poverty is at the local. The fight for poverty should begin or should be done at the local level. Local government should be the one to fight. But when you say you are fighting poverty from the federal government, before it comes down to the poor people in the local government, how many hands is it going to pass through? And the corruption is there. Everyone will take their procedure, bureaucracy. The federal government should be sending money directly to the local governments that will tackle poverty at the local government. Even if there is corruption at the local government, the money will stay around the local government. But when you are giving them huge money at the federal government, people start stealing and you steal big money, 30 billion, 40 billion. Ministers being sacked, EFCC, everything. So because we are dealing with huge resources at the center, let us bring those resources to the grassroots. So like I said, I'm open for conversation. My contacts, you invited me for a mentorship session at ABU. ABU has been my favorite university, even though I know that it's second from UK. But I'm willing to come back again. I live in Abuja, very easy. I can use a train to come down here. So set up something, mentorship, a leadership class, questions, career guidance. We can do that. So we can even bring my book up, look at each chapter, and we can even look at smartness and intelligence building, the super brain. You guys know that they call super brain coach, teaching people how to memorize and become smarter. These are things that we can do together to help ourselves. Thank you so much. I look forward to meeting you. Sorry, we don't have more time. Thank you so much. I'm going to miss your mic.
Wow. I just got schooled.